Hello, thank you everyone for joining us here always on Global Television. This is how we welcome you to Global Morning. It's Monday, first working day of the week. As always, we're grateful and we hope that you are as well, even in the face of all of the headwinds and obstacles against which we are persuaded we are all winning. I'm Uyi Agmofwegwe, the lady that makes conscious efforts to outdress me every other day, Monday to Friday, here on Global Morning. Well, he's also on the show to prove a point today, but I came ready. Juma, it's good to see you.
I make it very intentional.
Right, that much is obvious.
Good morning, Uyi. How are you doing today?
I'm great, very well.
And to all of you out there, good morning to each and every one of you. Hope you're having an amazing day. It's a beautiful Monday morning, just like how we indicated. It's a beautiful day to start the week. And we're grateful.
We have to be, yes, we should be happy, right? You have to be, not everybody gets the chance to study architecture, but you've got to be the architect of your own joy.
Very true.
You must look for those things in your life, whether ongoing or maybe from the past. And maybe you can also look into the future and find a reason to be happy. Nobody gives that to you. There are people who erroneously think some big event needs to happen, someone needs to come into their life for them to be happy. If I get into this relationship, if I marry this person, if only I had a child as early as I had expected, all of those ifs, and stuff like that. But in the midst of all of the things we wish we had, we must also not take our eye off the things we do have.
Very true. And that is why we should stay grateful always.
Right.
I mean, thankful for what we have at that particular time and make the best out of it. I think people are so into, I wish I had this, or I wish this was this, or this was that. And they forget that what they have at that moment is a blessing that someone else wishes for. So you should just be content in your own right and be grateful for what you have and make the best out of it.
Totally agree. That's why, again, people still do not understand why Nigerians are generally called the happiest people on earth.
True.
I think we got knocked out of that sport once in 2024, so we became second. But we have to get back there real quick because, you see, thing is, it's not because Nigerians have the best of experience. I mean, look at the experience back at home. A lot of issues to deal with, whether you're talking about power, the fact that somebody somewhere needs to get their own water, they need to find a way to provide security, whatever security means for them, and things like that. Yet, Nigerians always try as much as possible to keep their heads high, far above the water. We never drown.
No, we don't. We cannot do. And that is why anywhere in the world you must find a Nigerian there. There's nowhere you won't find a Nigerian because we always make the most of situations and we make the best out of it. When you go to places like America, you'll be surprised that during the winter where most people prefer to stay indoors, Nigerians work harder.
They are hard at their grind.
Yeah. They are hard at their grind. Like they work so much. They put in so much work because we're hard workers. We love enjoyment. We love to party. We love life, basically. I want to make the best out of it. So that's how it is. So, with all of these, we might find it a little bit, okay, what's happening now? But despite the circumstances, despite what we see or what we're looking at this point, we've tried to make the best out. People actually joke out of the fact that sometimes it's hard that you cannot eat 3 square meals a day, or it's hard that you're transporting yourself from one place, or you're even an individual is unemployed. They try to make a joke out of it to just lighten the mood, and that is why I think that's why we're one of the happiest people in the world, because we just feel with everything we will survive. We will survive. The water will not drown us. We'll survive. We're good.
I totally agree. It's interesting when I hear people say, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. But I guess they're actually referring to Nigeria. Lagos in particular, right? Lagos, Nigeria, not Lagos in Portugal. All right, let's be clear. but quite frankly, it appears Nigeria is the benchmark for, on a global scale, to say if you can make it here, it means you can't fail anywhere else. As long as you have good health, you have life in you, it's a given. How God did that, we can never fathom.
Lagos, when they made reference to, when you talk about Lagos, the hustle and bustle in Lagos, it's always, everybody's always quick. When you're going into the buses, you're running, if you're doing everything. So when you go to other parts of Nigeria, you just find it easier. In Lagos, you know how it is. It's a different lifestyle. When you come to places like Abuja or where it's slow, it's steady, no stress compared to where you're coming from. So it just makes it seamless. And even when you travel abroad, it's easy for you to adapt quickly because you know that everything is always very fast. So why are you wasting time, guys? So be fast and all of that.
Be on the move.
Be on the move. So that is it. So I think that is why I think there's always a lesson to learn wherever you're somewhere, or just that lesson and the impact that you make when you're in a particular place. It goes a long way, basically, and that's why if you want to learn something, come to Nigeria. We'll shape you up very well. Then you can go to wherever you want to go.
Maybe you want to start from Abuja, and then we can talk about Lagos later. But we're taking a break at this point, everyone. When we return, you'll get to find out. The show is just getting started. Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
for the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Also, when we tell you that politicians are already doing their thing, some people are still finding it a bit difficult to understand because INEC has not officially flagged off a campaign window. But you know how politicians roll. We understand in Kano now, the Asewaju signature cap is already being spotted all around the government house.
Yes, it is.
More like a pointer to the defection of the governor, Kabir Yusuf Abba, which we understand all else equal will happen today. For many people, this defection is different from the other ones we've seen, whether it's in Uyo, Akwa Ibom, Enugu, Bayelsa, and even Delta, because they say this is the first time we're having an ANPP governor. Of course, the other governors were from the PDP, basically. All of them that moved were from the PDP, but this is the first time. 2023 was the first time the NNPP produced, so to speak, a governor. Barely 3 years down the line, into the governors of the state, the governor is moving. And so for many people, it's a historical event. And they even say it's a landmark for the APC. And as such, everybody is gearing up for this defection. But that, again, has several angles to the defection. Because whether you like it or not, this is calculation that is geared towards 2027. The governor is doing this first time. He has to be there for second term. And you don't just come back for second term only on the basis of the fact that you impressed the people. You must also be in the good books of those above you, the godfathers, the influencers, those who who drive the clouds, exactly, financiers and all of that. Even if you say as a governor, you can now independently finance yourself. But somebody needs to give you the ticket of the party. So most times the elements are not as clear to us on this end as it is to them who are on the other side of the divide. But we understand that today is going to be a big day in Abuja because the governor will be moving. But let's see how that will play out between the APC and the NNPP, because the NNPP is a very strong party in Kano. In fact, that's their stronghold. So July 2027 has begun.
Yes, it has begun, and it's becoming very intense with all of these defections here and there. Like you said, but Kanu is a big deal because you know that a lot of individuals, the populace is there, and for this governor and all of that. But at the same time, let's just see how well this plays out. It's a really big deal, and you know, like 2027 is just around the corner, and a lot is happening when it comes to campaigns. Well, it hasn't really started, but it has kick-started. But it's going to really be intense, like in the middle or close to the end of 2026. But let's just see what it brings. For me, it's not about who defects to this party or who does this. And even when there's a defection ongoing, do you have it at the back of your mind that you're there to serve the people? It's the most important thing for me. Like I don't even care who's on the seat, who is the president, who is the governor, who is the minister. As long as you do the needful when it comes to giving back to individuals who have taken their time to put you in that particular seat. But for as much as defections are ongoing, which is a big deal from, like you say, ANPP to the APC and all of that, all of these defections here and there, it's a big deal. But let's just see what it brings at the end of it all. That's for me. That's just my own general opinion.
Yeah, I can imagine. But it appears it's going to be very tight. I know the way it works in Nigeria is there are 3 states you must not lose sight of: Lagos, Kano, Rivers. Those 3 states are key. It's not like the other states are not important, but you know, politicians know how to keep the main thing, right? They prioritize very well. They're strategic about these things. But then it appears that while the APC, the ruling party, is ramping up numbers, you know, big wigs, political influencers and all of that, the ADC is also not losing out. We saw Peter Obi move the other day alongside a few other prominent politicians and things like that. So there's now the conversation that, look, hold on a second, is it not possible that PDP is no longer the lead opposition party in Nigeria today as against what had been the case? Because as it stands right now, it now appears to be a 2-horse race, so to say, between the APC and the ADC. Yes, of course, we know the APC has consistently dismissed the ADC as not being an opposition and things like that. But we can't take away the fact that in a party where you have the combo of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi, it will be naive to not want to recognize that there's a fight coming. I mean, politically speaking. That sort of thing. And we understand that the president, being the political chess player that he is not ignorant of the fact that, look, we've got to get our acts together and we need to do that as quickly as possible so we don't begin to have the fire brigade approach to all of this. But again, for us, our concern really is around the continuous voter registration exercise. Because you see, we can talk all we want to, whether here on the program or elsewhere, but if people don't come out to vote, before which if they do not come out to register, it means the whole exercise will be in futility. Even politicians understand that much. That's the reason they keep saying, go on. Even politicians encourage people to register. Well, since states where governors are even providing transportation for people, so there won't be an excuse of saying, well, Juma could have gone, but
no transfer fare. No, there's enough.
So they make it easier for you to go because they know in the end they will need that vote. Therefore,
vote is that's our power.
Yes, they pay it forward.
We pay it forward, and without that, you will not be elected or re-elected in a particular position which you're vouching for. You need us. That's the thing. You need us. So we are the ones that will call the shots because we have to be there to cast our votes. And you need to do that. If you do not register or get your permanent voter's card, the e-registration that is on, if you're not a part of it, then your voice and vote will not count. So it's very important we know that. All
right, let's make it all count, everyone. As we take a break now, Ramsey Enoch Agbo, as always, is here to pump some inspiration into every one of us. Have a great time watching.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching from, where you are listening from right now. My name is Ramsey. Let's talk a little bit. You know, a lot of people think the way they want to think because everyone is entitled to their decision. Everyone is entitled to how they think. But then you have the right to think in a particular way. But then there is something I want us to consider today, inspiring ourselves, encouraging ourselves. What we are trying to achieve here is to set someone on track, give someone hope, restore someone's belief and faith in himself, in herself. What are we saying? There are things that you don't need to procrastinate about, that you need to start now. From where you are, using what you have, doing what you can, because nobody, all right, would want to have it all before they get started. If you're waiting for when you have it all before you get started, then it is a problem. So now, I want to ask a question. Let me ask you a question. How many dreams have died because someone was waiting for the perfect moment? How many dreams do you think have died? Even you who is listening, who is watching right now, how many of your dreams, how many of your plans have died because you were waiting for the perfect moment? Some will say, I will start when I have the money. Some will say, I will begin when I have the right equipment. Some said, I will take the first step when everything is in place. But when is going to be the time that everything will be in place? These are the questions we should be asking ourselves. But let me tell you something. The truth is this: there will never be a perfect time. The perfect time is now. All right? Arthur Ashe, the legendary tennis champion, once said, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. He didn't have the fanciest equipment. He didn't train in the best facility, but he had willpower and courage to start whatever he had. You see, greatness doesn't just wait for the perfect time. It doesn't care about perfection. It grows through progress. Every successful person you admire today started small. The difference between them and others isn't the talent, all right? It's the action, the move. Don't despise your humble beginning. Don't mind what people are saying, because people will say so many things about you. Whatever. Someone said his name is whatever. Whatever you do, whatever you say, people must talk about it, whether positive or negative. If you're doing well, people will still criticize you, because some persons will say, oh, because of his affluence, he's behaving like this. If you don't have, some people will still say, where is he looking at? Can't he see his mates? Can't he see what his colleagues are doing? The small things that you are doing in a big way one day will generate you income that you don't even expect. The bottom line is this: you need to tell yourself and say, enough is enough. I've tarried too long in this place, in this position, all right, in this thinking. You know, it's a process. It's a process. Success is a process. First of all, you need to conceive it in your heart. Then secondly, it needs to get into your head. Have it in your head, or else it will never get into your hand. Number one, it needs to be in your heart, in your head, and in your hand. I call it the triple H. The triple H principle says it must get conceived in your heart first, keep ringing in your head, then it will enter your hand one day. But a lot needs to be doing. It's a process, just like the seed. The seed doesn't grow in just one day. It went through a lot of processes. The gold you see today don't just come out shiny, but then it went through a refining process, a heating process with fire, serious fire. The gold is being heated in serious fire before it's become what it is today. So whatever you are doing, that dream that you have, begin to do something about it. Begin to mix up with people who are going your direction, people who have your kind of dream achieved already, because that thing you're thinking, somebody already has gone ahead to do it. So you don't need to just sit down and be thinking, be procrastinating. The economy is not favorable. Nigeria, this is the country. If I was abroad, well, let me tell you the truth. It's not all about your location. It's not all about your destination, even though these factors play particular roles in your success, in your growth, in your achievement. But you don't need to capitalize on it. All right, and hold yourself back. Because by the time you're holding yourself back, someone somewhere is already overtaking you because the person believed in his or her dream and decided to make a move despite the fact that they are not seeing the staircase, but they believe that their leg will land somewhere. All right? Risk taking is very important, but then if you want to take risk, let it be a calculated risk, not the risk that will destroy you or claim your life. Any risk you're taking, it should be a calculated risk. If I do this, this is what is going to happen. If I do it this way, this is what is going to happen. But at the end of the day, this is where I am going to land, good or bad. That's how to take risk. You don't just take risk randomly and say, well, whatever wants to happen should happen. You should know that this thing that I want to do is two ways. It's either it happens this way or it happens the other way. But those two ways should be something that you should be able to survive, not that kind of risk that will end you in jail. Then that dream is already dead on arrival. That vision is dead on arrival. So if you want to take risk in as much as risk taking is part of the game, you need to be calculative. You need to put your sense together. All right. And you just need to know that every expert was once a beginner. Everyone started from somewhere and they are where they are today. It's so beautiful talking with you. It's so nice talking with you in this aspect. A lot of people tell themselves, this is what I want to do. They start and they stop halfway. Some persons start and one thing comes up and they abandon that and rush on the other thing. But the bottom line is this: whatever you want to do, whatever it is you're doing, you should believe in yourself that you are a great man, you are a great woman. But then you need to put God at the center of everything that you do, whatever it is. Allah, okay, is supposed to be in charge. And everything you want to do, don't succeed at the detriment of the other person, because nemesis will not allow that success see the light of day. You might be successful today, but how long is that success going to be sustained? Will you be able to sustain it because you did it on a very faulty foundation? A house built on a faulty foundation never lasts. We heard of building collapse at different times. How did it end? Because the foundation was faulty. So your success in life, your achievement in life should be on a very solid foundation without you stepping on toes. It's not necessary, okay? Because the plan that God has for you is of good. So do your best and try everything that you can and get started now. Get started now. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, December, you should be able to sit down and say, yes, this is what I have done. This is what I have achieved. All right. It might not be 100%, but at least 75, 80, 85, 90 is still a very good one. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful time. I want to see you at the other side of success so that we can celebrate together, because the world is waiting for you to manifest your success. Thank you.
Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
All right, you're welcome back, and it's Global Morning on Global Television. Hope you were inspired by Ramsey Enoch Agbo, and at about this time is the newspaper review segment, and we'll start with the first paper of the day. It's the New Telegraph. And above the nameplate of the New Telegraph, it says 2026 budget. Financial institutions to earn 4.40 billion naira as charges from government agencies. Now, still that, it says alert upgrade when bank unveils voice banking uptime prediction. And that's on page 25 of the New Telegraph. Now, below that, it says here, alleged corruption, EFCC not witch hunting opposition politicians, and that's from Olukayode, and that you will find on page 2. Now, close to that, it says 2022. Here it says retirement age law marginalizes non-teaching school workers, and that's from NASU, and that you will find on page 2. And it says FG rules out telling Third Mainland Bridge, and here you will find on page 5 and 6. And still on the New Telegraph, Iran warns it will retaliate if U.S. attacks as protesters defy crackdown. That read you will find on page 4. Now, the star story on the New Telegraph says 2026, how Ekiti, Osun, Gerber, 2027 primary polls. Others will, that's the headline, political activities. And the writer says 10 governors to bow out of office by May 29th. Now, talking about insecurity on the New Telegraph, and that read you will find on page 29. Soldiers, NSCDC officials shot dead in Benue State. Unfortunate incident there. And that's all the stories making headlines on the New Telegraph. Go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast. Next, we have the Nigerian Tribune. And over to Uyi Agbomofoigbe.
All right. So turn to that now. Top right corner first. It says defection, death, court cases leave LP with 0 senators. All right. ADC gains, says ADC gains, displaces LP in 3rd position. ABGA, NNPP, SDP hold, 1 seat each. Local government accounts, that's Akika. Osun files charges against UBA officials. Hearing holds January 30. All right, that's in barely 3 weeks' time. The Star headline says, federal government set to end ASU crisis with 3 riders associated with that story. To sign fresh agreement, January 14. Approves 40% salary increase for academic staff. Deal to include revamped university funding model. That looks like a timely move, if you ask me. All right. Mufwang still holding PDP mandate despite defection. That's according to Jang himself, a one-time governor of the state. All right. 2027. Kwankwaso will not be allowed to contest on our platform. That's the NNPP speaking. You're asking yourself, what's Kwankwaso got to do with it? Is he also defecting alongside his political godson, Governor Abba Yusuf? Well, you can read up details. Eve, and when you pick up a copy of the Nigerian Tribune today. All right. Kwamwon writes Abiodun over exclusion from Awujale nomination process. How illegal miners, bandits combined to attack Old Oyo National Park. 2 writers say to us, attack is retaliation against the arrest of illegal miners. Why attacks or attackers destroyed forests, guards, detention camp. Well, those are the headlines from the Nigerian Tribune today. Do read up details beyond the headlines as Jumai walks us through the Punch newspaper.
All right, now on the Punch newspaper, giving you some very punchy headlines now. And above the nameplate, it says, Wike ends LG tours and Assembly alleges plot to stall Fubara's impeachment. Now, beside the nameplate, that's the Punch, it says, INEC faces illegal heat over misleading 50 over missing 55.9 billion naira 2019 election funds. And that's on page 24. And still on the Punch, on page 43, it says, Chidamanda solicitors write Lagos hospital doctors suspended. And the star story on the Punch newspaper says 2026 budget twist. MDAs inject 3.5 trillion naira new project despite FG freeze. And the star and the rider says power, transport, health dominate new spending as fresh projects take 15% of capital budget. And on page 24, it says FG proposes 41 billion naira to upgrade 109 foreign missions. And on page 9, it says Wema Bank introduces voice banking on ALAT. And the picture there, it says here, Armed Forces Day, FG governors hail soldiers' sacrifice. And that read you will find on page 10 of the Punch newspaper. Basically, that is it. Go out to get yourself a copy and be well abreast. Next is the Vanguard.
All right, the big one says, Rivers crisis on the Vanguard newspaper. Rivers crisis. Why I said dogs are barking, Fubara. Well, there's going to be a long, long night of explanation. So I think Governor Fubara shouldn't even get started at all. Tinubu can sack me if I can no longer offer anything. That's Wiki there talking. Two more riders, but read up details for yourself on page 5 as we move a notch higher on the front page of the Vanguard this morning, top right corner. LG accounts Osun files charges against bank officials. Hearing holds January 30. Iran, 466 killed, 2,638 detained. Yet the protest has not ended. The U.S. is looking at options in terms of striking Tehran, whether I should strike military sites or non-military sites. In the meantime, right in the middle of all that, the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah, says, look, there's no backing down. The government will continue to maintain its position. And it has also made very clear to the United States authorities that, look, if you strike Iran in any way, we would sure retaliate. You can take that to the bank, Iran says. All right, insecurity. Release of 70 bandits sparks outrage in Katsina. 8 killed in Niger, Sokoto communities. Quite a sad story there. Well, let's take a look at the last one. It says loans to manufacturers shrink to 2.1 trillion naira. Okay, that's some good news, no doubt about it. But
yes, it is.
The Vanguard has all of those details for you as we slide over to the Daily Monitor.
All right, let's quickly slide to the Daily Monitor. Now, above the nameplate, it says FG asked to formalize agreement on straightening universities' system. And below the nameplate, it says here, Rivers Assembly raises alarm over alleged plots to undermine impeachment process. And that's on page 2. Still on page 2, NDLEA arrests 80-year-old ex-convict. Really? Others for drug trafficking. 80 years old, you've not learned your lesson.
Drama never ends.
Drama never ends. This is an ex-convict. That means he or she has been in prison before.
At least once.
At least once.
Even if they didn't go to prison, at least they had been convicted by a competent court of law.
Justice, exactly. And you know, it's very funny to see that this is an 80-year-old. You're supposed to lay examples for individuals to follow. Like,
spending time with your grandchildren.
With your great-grandchildren, if possible. This is so wrong. Really, oh my God. Now on page 6, it says security checkpoints responsible for nationwide traffic gridlock, and that's OB. And I totally agree with that. I totally agree. And that you'll find on page 6. Now on page 7, it says, in a major political alignment, Southeast governors, APC leaders, stakeholders endorsed Tinubu for second term. And of course, the Star story reads, it says, Wike to critics, only Tinubu can sack me.
Of course.
And the letter says, President knows his worth and as such does not need anybody to tell him what to do. And that's from the voice of the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike. And at the foot of the Daily Monitor, it says, NARD suspends planned strike amid stakeholders' engagement. And basically, that's all on the Daily Monitor. Go out and get yourself a copy as Uyi runs us through the nation.
Thank you, Jumaya. We begin with the one on the top left with a picture of the now controversial governor of River State, Siminalayi Fubara. Says, why am at peace despite impeachment notice by Fubara? Yes, he said that in church. All right, but you know, places of worship provide their own set of solace, solitude.
Exactly.
And, if you like, this sort of maybe not peace necessarily, at least tranquility.
Yeah.
You know.
But peace also, where you're in a place of worship and you just don't want anything to bother you, just want to focus on your belief at that point, and the encouragement that you get from either the cleric or the pastor. There's this sort of peace that comes in that, hey, no matter the storm, you're good. So
I hope the governor brings that to the governors of River State. It's very important because when it's not said and done, it's about the people for whom you were elected to provide leadership. All right? It is good that you have peace because you need a level head, you need a clear thinking path.
Very important.
To be able to, just chart the course for your people. But then that must reflect in the experience that they have under your leadership.
Very true.
All right. Grip tightens around government enterprises to boost revenue, of course. Hospital opens probe into death of Chimamanda Adichie's son. This happened a few days ago.
Very sad.
The government has condoled with the family. All right. What's more, the big one says, alleged arms discovery. Malami faces DSS probe. You know, I saw a movie yesterday. The title is One Battle After Another. All right. 2 hours, 48 minutes. But again, it's reminiscent of this story. You know, Malami has been in the custody of the EFCC.
Yes, he has.
Just last week, court granted him bail, 500 million.
His son.
But now we're told that on account of the alleged arms discovery or charges against him, he now has to face probe by the Department of State Services because obviously that's, those charges border on national security.
Yes,
all right.
It does.
The writer says, Olukoyede, I inherited investigation into ex-AGF future. Tenure, I should say. So, which means that it didn't start with him. That's the point the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is saying, right? Tinubu in Abu Dhabi for Sustainability Summit, just like Bayo Onanuga, the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, had told Nigerians that the president would go to Europe, even though he didn't specify what country, and then he would move from there to Abu Dhabi, where his counterpart will be hosting him to discuss issues around sustainability, whether in terms of finance, tech, and what have you. All right, there's more to come on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. Foreign inflows propel NGX turnover to 11.3 trillion naira. Two riders accompany that headline. Results doubles 2024 figures. Experts attribute success to policy reforms. Finally, NARD drops strike plan. That's the National Association of Resident Doctors. Juma, you know, you and I talked about this a number of times in the week that was. That strike action was supposed to kick in today.
Yes.
But there's some intervention now. Yes, it's not El Dorado yet, but we are making progress for whatever it's worth, all right? Yeah. What else? 150,000 jostle for 774 National Health Fellow slots. Well, that's quite a disparity there.
Yes, it
but
is.
The intriguing details await you on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Use that opportunity to also look at other stories from the Nation today. Next is the Daily Trust.
All right, the Daily Trust newspaper. Now below the nameplate, it says Saraki Olubadan to lead 23rd Daily Trust Dialogue. And next, and that read you will find on page 2 of the Daily Trust. Now on page 4, it says 22 die in Abuja Kaduna road crashes, and that's a very sad incident there. Of course, we know it's either due to bad road, overspeeding, drivers on a substance, or impatient.
Right.
All of those things encompass. Like I always say, these things can be averted. If we just, always, if we take the necessary steps to be cautious and be responsible when we are driving. All right, the Star story reads, Castina defends release of 70 bandits. I would love to hear what the defense is really. And below that it says, defection, Kwakwaso loyalists skip Governor Yusuf's outing. And it says there, Fubara urges calm, lawmakers insist on impeachment, and that you will find on page 17. And on page 52 of the Daily Trust, it says 11 killed as farmers, herders clash in Taraba. And on page 55, it says 2026, 1.07 billion naira voted for Tinubu Shetima's residence renovations. And basically, that is it on the Daily Trust. And we will be running us through the next paper.
Thank you, Juma. Let's go to the Guardian newspaper. Turns out to be the very last this morning. All right. ADC at the risk of rotational presidency breach, says Okechukwu. Incidentally, Okechukwu is a ranking member of the All Progressives Congress and one who believes in President Bola Tinubu as well. So he says the African Democratic Congress is at risk of rotational presidency breach. Of course, he's referring to the OB factor, but quite frankly, is it constitutional? It's more like a gentleman arrangement. That's what some persons will say. Others will say, well, let's not rock the boat. You don't ditch a strategy that has worked for you for some time. All right, price stability as first casualty of new tax misinterpretation. You find those details on page 22. That's the finance and economy segment of the Guardian newspaper. Price stability as first casualty of new tax misinterpretation. All right, AFCRD Day, that's Armed Forces Remembrance Day now. We understand celebration has now been added. Military advised against coup partisanship. Read up details on page 3. 2026 budgets amid revenue uncertainty, vehicles sundry expenses cuts big slices. It's still early in the day for 2026. NARD postpones planned strike by 2 weeks as VP Shetima intervenes. 2 weeks will not be forever, so we need to make the most of that window. So this National Association of Resident Doctors won't find a reason to start talking about strike again, because as it stands right now, this is more like a truce to say, look, we are still fighting. But can we not take a break? Maybe, who knows, gulp some water while we talk about terms. Maybe we can negotiate. Who knows, there's a chance that we can sheath our swords, resolve all of these and things like that. But as it stands right now, it is the Vice President who is intervening on behalf of the federal government. So let's hope this does not end as a political move. It should be such that in the end, even the doctors themselves will testify that, look, all of those issues that we were agitating about have either now been resolved or we see light at the end of the tunnel.
For me, I'm just tired of this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
You can't be tired now.
For me, if I was a doctor, I would have
want to get you on the table.
No. Get me on the table. It's just like we keep going back and forth with this. I think this can be resolved.
Yeah, it's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science. It can be resolved. Just give them what is rightful due to them, which we have seen. And for goodness sake, they are entitled to these benefits. Just do the needful so we can stop going on with this strike action, or if health workers are not going to. I read the news, for goodness sakes, and I saw where it says if some doctors want to continue going to work, it's going to be work as you, pay as you go. We can avoid all of these national embarrassment with our health workers. These are individuals who, it's a very sensitive sector, the health. It has to do with human life. On a daily, women give birth. On a daily, you see old people going. I have aged parents, and I know what it is. That's why I'm very, this particular aspect of the sector is very important to me. I have aged parents who have to visit the hospital because they need to get their checkups. All of these things are very important.
Right.
So if you don't take it seriously, it takes a toll on a lot of individuals. You have families who their children are sickle cell. And they have to go for checkup. And we need these doctors. We have individuals who are going for surgery. We have individuals.
Some on life support.
Life support. It's so sensitive. Dialysis. It's so painful to see. I get very emotional talking about it because I don't know why we keep going back and give these doctors what they want. This is what they want. They're not asking for too much. It's their benefit only. For goodness sake, there are so many Nigerians who really need the attention of doctors. And if they go on strike, it's going to be a very serious issue. They would have empathy to tell you that, hey, let's drink some water, let's come back and re-strategize and talk about this issue. But please, some individuals, some Nigerians are tired of this. We're tired. Give them what is due to them. Let's move on. There are bigger pressing issues in Nigeria. The election around the corner. You have to talk about people coming out who are overwhelmed by all of this to come out and go out for their era. There are millions and billions of things to talk about. We keep going back and forth with it, and it's really tiring.
It is.
Like, seriously, it's overwhelming. I don't know about you, but as a Nigerian, and I love Nigeria, it's overwhelming. It's tiring. Let's do the needful. Give them what they want. Let's move past this. Make a difference, please.
All right. Well, I get to see doctors too, Jumai. So I think this affects all of us.
It does.
We must see it as our own problem, not just the government problem. But government must also see that as part of its duty in terms of leadership. All right. All right. Let's make progress, everyone. Here it says, Heather seeks accountability as UK moves to return sterling $9.5 million. We understand it's another tranche of the infamous Abacha loot. All right, so those details are on page 4. By the way, HEDA is a civil society organization, all right, now calling for accountability in this regard. Bandits imposed 50,000 naira farming tax on Kano Casino settlements. Details on page 13. This is ludicrous, as one professor would say. I mean, bandits in my lifetime imposing a 50,000 naira farming tax on some communities in Kano and Katsina State. I mean, these are states in our country's northwest.
Exactly.
It's embarrassing.
What temerity? Really, I can't. These bandits do not want to stand down. This is no comment.
So it's a challenge to government.
It's a challenge to government that they can come out with their full chest in the Nigeria slogan and do this. Like, seriously, it means that they are on their own. They actually are the ones that call the shots when it comes to, because we're all talking about this reform when it comes to tax, how it's beneficial to the common Nigerian, how tax will come and improve our lives, how tax will make a difference, because it's very important we pay tax once we're aware and all of that. And then the bandits have the audacity to come out and say there's a 50,000 naira tax on farmers who they're the one. In fact, this is ridiculous.
It is, I agree totally. It is. Well, let's look at the last one. Again, it takes us to Rivers State. It says, Fubara appeals for calm as Rivers Assembly alleges plot to stall impeachments. On page 8 is where you find that, with a picture of Governor Fubara, not looking embattled, with sort of something close to a smile.
Yes, exactly. He's calm with all of this. Like he said, he's at peace. So let's see what this brings. And like I always tell people, once you know that your conscience is clear.
Yes, it's a matter of time.
It's a matter of time. Once your conscience is clear, and you know that, hey, whatever it is, it's just a matter of time. The truth will always prevail. It will always surface.
And you'll be vindicated.
And you will be vindicated. That's the thing. And that is why once you are in power, do the right thing. So you can be as calm as Fubara.
Okay, well, let's spend the next few days, maybe even weeks, understudying River State Governor. But in the meantime, these are all the headlines we're bringing to you this morning on the program. As always, we encourage you to read up the news for yourself, take responsibility for the news you consume, regardless of the medium. We live in an era of fake news now, so you don't want to be caught in the web, all right? Remember as well that all of the headlines we bring to you on Global Morning are exactly as published by the respective publishers. So Global Television as a broadcast media outlet, or even the team here on Global Morning does not in any way contribute to them. We're taking a break now, so much more to come on the program. Do stay with us. Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Very good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program,
As always, it's a pleasure to have you join us here on Global Morning. I am Uyi Alpo.
You know how we do it on Teacher Post Extra, bringing you all the
on the desk this evening, we have very topical issues to discuss, and of course,
Welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament.
Even a joyful home doesn't happen by chance. It is built on
women can rise beyond traditional boundaries to claim their rightful place as
numerous committee, about more than 12 committees.
Festival is a program that comes to you once in a week at about this time where we look into issues and discuss them. It gives you the opportunity to
rulers in United
Welcome
Nigeria.
to Entertainment Circle. And trust me, today you're about to get entertained.
Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sports here on Global Television. One of Zone is that platform where we bring young and talented artists.
Stay tuned, stay inspired, stay with Global Television on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Part of our discussions on the program this morning would have us turn attention a bit to Edo State, where insecurity is reported to have heightened in the last couple of months, especially in the last few weeks, where some say the height of it is now the abduction of a doctor and his sibling, one of whom has reportedly been murdered, and the other one is the abductee for whom the kidnappers are asking for $100 million ransom. The last few days we've seen what appears to be his wife soliciting funds from public spirited individuals and also asking for prayers. In all of this, there are those who say is an alleged failure on the part of the state's government under the leadership of Governor Monday Okpebholo to bring to book those responsible for all of these dastardly acts and their sponsors. Well, others say the government inherited the states ravaged by insecurity, and they cite several examples. However, the government also believes that 1 year plus isn't enough to tackle what has now become a monster in the state. We'll have a politician and a civil society leader join us this morning to also look at those issues. But Jumai, I mean, you can relate with all of this because one of your legs stands in those states.
One of my legs.
Yeah, in the one I was speaking.
Of course,
you know,
of course.
And I also can relate with all of this, basically, because that's my own state, born, raised, bred, as they say, and buttered.
Half me, I'm half because of my mom.
Well, we do 100.
We do have 50. insecurity.
But quite frankly, you look at that state today, when you see or hear of some of the stories coming out from there, especially as they border on insecurity, you're wondering, are you serious? Could this be Edo State?
Exactly.
Look at the protests that we've seen in Ekpoma. I mean, like a series of protests. We hear that they're now occupying the entire stretch of the express road, which is the Beni Abuja road, if you like, and things like that. And the governor says, look, we can bring all of this to an end. I mean, you stay off the streets. The government is doing all it can to tackle this as quickly as possible. Yesterday, we saw on the state's official Facebook page where the governor himself was saying that, look, we're not sleeping on it. We will bring to justice everyone responsible, from the attackers themselves to those backing them to those who are funding them, but words are never enough.
Words are never enough, basically. And for this particular protest, it shows that the youths are tired of insecurity and tired of adoptions that has been going on in the state in the beginning of course, the governor. It has been on the rise compared to what it was before. But we've been reading about this in the papers, and this death of this youth is something that is of great concern. It's alarming because they had to, you know, his corpse, the individual, the protesters carried his corpse around Benin to show that, hey, we are tired of this. How many of these will we continue to see? And of course, the adoption of the doctor that took place also. It's just unfortunate that it's happening now, but I am grateful at the same time that the governor is all about the calm. He's coming. He's not ignoring the fact that these youths are out on the streets protesting and saying that they want securities to be tackled. We want these individuals out of Edo State as soon as possible. But I like the fact that he's out there, he's showing empathy that, oh, I understand what you're going through. I feel it also, but remain calm so that criminals will not take advantage of this and do something else and incriminate the youths who are protesting for their rights as usual. But it's just unfortunate that this is happening at this time in Edo State. I don't think Governor Okpebholo has rested with all these back and forth, the issues. It's really alarming. Edo State is a very peaceful, but we know the youths are very, I don't want to use the word radical.
They can be irate when situation calls for it.
When situation calls for it. Exactly. But to get to this point, that means they're tired. And it means that they want solution as quick as yesterday.
Great. So we're going to take a quick break now, everyone. When we return, our guest, the very first in the mix this morning, will help us understand what's happening on the ground, 360 degrees. Do stay with us. Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
for the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
All right, so let's get started, everyone, with our first conversation on a global morning today. Again, we return to Edo State, where insecurity is apparently the biggest conversation in that state. No longer elections or the back and forth over who won and who lost in 2024. Ekpoma has become a hotspot of some kind, and just for perspective, that's a university community, Ambrose Ali University, just so we are clear. So you can only imagine what exactly it means when you continue to hear of increase in abductions around that area. That's not to say that you don't also find pockets of insecurity or crimes being committed in other parts of the state, but as it stands right now, and sadly so, Ekpoma is in the eye of the storm. So we've seen the protests that have greeted that town, and at some point we heard that students were reluctant to resume on account of fear that they might be next in line for all the wrong reasons. The governor says the state government is not resting on its oars right now, that is doing all it can to not only end this menace, but bring the actors and those backing them to book as quickly as possible. This morning, we're joined by Destiny Nabolele. He's a former local government chairman in Edo State, a member of the People's Democratic Party, as well as a member of civil society. I would like to say big thank you to you and Happy New Year, Destiny.
Yeah, same to you, my brother.
Happy New Year. Thank you for being a part of Global Morning.
Thank you for having me.
Well done.
All right, sir, let's talk about Edo State real quick, the issue of insecurity. Hopefully, we're able to divorce politics from this conversation, right? Because it's about human lives, no less. So let's look at where we are. At what point did it become so nasty that today people say they are dragging the governor? Others say, well, it's not as bad as it seems. But it was bad enough that we have seen protests in Ekpoma running for days now.
Yeah, my brother, I'm happy that you're equally from Edo State. Well, I don't know about my sister.
No, I'm half Edo. My mom is Igweben. So.
Oh, you are from Edo State. I think we are home and dry. You see, there's a saying that if elders don't speak or talk, children will eat vulture, thinking they are eating chicken. You see, over time, we have allowed our political inclination becloud our sense of cognitive reason and fair judgment. At the very beginning of this, with utmost humility, this INEC, administration in Edo State, headed by the class prefect. Or the class
please can we stay on the issue?
I'm driving there.
Yeah, please.
So you can know why we are at this conundrum, across board, economically, socially, security-wise, politically, just name it. Even within the circle, they are divided. I read online this morning, or rather last night, they are attributing it to PDP or ADC. They are casting aspersion on the former vice president. You see, it is unfortunate that we find ourselves at this crossroad. Very, very unfortunate. But the crop of persons that we currently have in the hierarchy in terms of leadership of Edo State, with utmost humility, they don't have the wherewithal to drive home the needed, dividends of democracy. Permit me, I think it was this platform or other sisters platform. I said it. I, for one, I cannot point to 2 years running now, one tangible project that they have, started or executed, apart from the flyover, which is the federal government's project. I don't know, maybe I'm lost, or I'm no longer in tune with the reality in Edo State.
Is the flyover a federal government project?
It is a federal government's project. It's on federal government's road. It is a federal government project. Let nobody...
But who is bankrolling the project, regardless of the location of the project? Well, even though that, you got us there, and I thought we should properly inform the public.
You see, whether you are bankrupt, there's a time will come where they will refund. It's a no fact. With all the money that is accruable or accruing to Edo State, if you look back to before this present dispensation, they are getting with first subsidy is gone. The proceeds from first subsidy is gone to very just now. We cannot say that Edo State is better off.
Well, let me ask a question here. Sorry to interject. You mentioned some political parties. Do you think with all of these issues happening in Edo State at the moment, since the assumption of office by Governor Okpebholo, do you think it has like a political undertone to it?
My dear sister, I'm happy you are from Igwebe. That automatically make you a very bona fide Edo person.
Okay.
You see, this morning, the news before us that one of the SSA colleagues has been arrested. The SSA on the Youth and Political Affairs on this present administration. You see, I got to know it was on another sister platform that with utmost humility, the only person that is different in this present administration, I sympathize with him, is Governor Mode Okpebholo. Every other person with utmost humility. From his number two man, let us, because there's a saying in my very rich Benin language that Abioyi or Masa Abiozuo, that it is more, it is good for you to have or give birth to a thief rather than you give birth to a moron. So I'm not saying that governor is a moron, neither am I saying that he's a thief.
So what's the point?
The point I'm making at is this, which is very simple, that as we speak in Edo State, there are different blocks in Edo State. I'm not of the APC, but as
blocks within the APC.
Within the APC, that is the gospel truth, and I will not mention names because I'm not of the APC. Our prayer is that they disintegrate and they go their ways, and very soon you begin to see events as they unfold as 2027 draws near. Some blocks headed by a senator is to make sure that Okpebholo fails and his godson, which happens to be number 2, will succeed. And the news that is flying around town in Edo State is that they are planning to even impeach the governor and bring in the number 2 man. So I will leave it at that. I will not,
so we can stay on insecurity issue.
Sorry?
So we can stay on insecurity.
Definitely. You see, the issue we have at hand, I said it before now, that we have lost touch. You understand that before this present administration, the former governor, Gordon Obaseki, set up a security platform where they'll be able to monitor some red areas, some key areas that are
the control and command facility.
Control and command center, named after the late former IGP Solomon Araisi.
Right.
But when this came on board, this present administration, they jettisoned. You see, there's a problem. There is need for continuity. I said in this platform that what Lagos State presently enjoys is as a result of continuity in Lagos State. That is why I'm not favorable or disposed to this man Jagaban in the center with utmost humility, because he knows very well the need for continuity. If, for instance, that we've had Asolime Ighodalo, Edo would have by now, climb the ladder of progress.
Are we not crying over spilled milk?
Exactly.
We keep talking about Asolime Ighodalo.
No, see, we must try to situate the yesterday. That's the only way we'll be able to understand what today stands for. That is the gospel truth. A situation where, if we're to be Asolime, we would have jettisoned or abandoned the command center. That's where I'm coming from. No. He would have started from where he stopped and where Godwin stops and continue. Before now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave it to Fashola, then Ambode, and now we have the man. You can see Lagos State is progressing, whether you like it or not. We must give it to them. But when we have Edo is in the reverse. Look at Osiomo. Just look at it. That's why I said, facet of human endeavor, the length and breadth of Edo State. There's something to show for it. For me, you know me, I was for Asolime Ighodalo, but that's not to say that, but today I'm saying that he need to watch his back. Because one of his greatest nightmares, nightmare, is his number 2 man. He needs to be very careful.
Is he the one responsible for insecurity in Edo State?
And kidnappings and adoptions.
A house divided against itself cannot stand. You understand? If you are a married man and you have an issue with your wife, there's going to be a problem. Conflict of interest. It's going to be difficult for you to achieve something meaningful. This is a well-known fact.
All right,
so for us, the issue of insecurity, you see, they have been, playing tete-a-tete. They've not been proactive, rather reactionary. What happened in Ekpoma? This is not the first time. There was a doctor and a brother that was kidnapped at the early, and the brother was killed. Even at about a few days ago, before this present one, this last one, there was an attack on one Mercedes-Benz Jeep at the night that was shown at the CCTV, and there was no action. And the student, it's a student community, and they are resuming. So if you have your kids or your wards there, as a parent, what will you do? So what they have done, you see, protest all over the world. It is your right. What happened? We must give it to the students and the community people, because they have cried and they have make appeal to government or to governor. This government, what they are after, with utmost humility, it is how to garner the 2.5 votes in 2027 for APC and
2.5 million.
So they've abandoned what anything has to do with governance. They've abandoned anything that has to do with
Are you saying the governor's priorities are...
Yes, his priority now are they
misaligned?
My brother, you should know. We should know. It's not, and the people know better.
We don't know. That's why we're asking you. We want your opinion on this issue. Okay, we don't know.
Let's make it really, really easy. You see, there's the conversation that insecurity, as you know it today in Edo State, especially around that Edo Central, Ekpoma in particular. I mean, even up to Edo North. It didn't start today. Let's say, for instance, we had a couple of bank robberies when your own man, Godwin Obaseki, was in power. As a matter of fact, the APC conveniently says today that they inherited states that was in a bad place, security-wise, and the facts are there. They speak for themselves.
My brother, when the governor Obaseki was in the saddle of leadership, trying to juxtapose vis-a-vis with this present administration, you all know that at least to reduce to a barest minimum. Anywhere in the world, there's no way you will say there's no country that is free from crime.
Right.
But you must reduce it to the barest minimum. But you will agree with me that will speak very just now. That it's an increase. Let us be very fair. Let us be sincere to our people, because our people's lives are in danger, including my humble self. Do you know, from Benin to Abuja by road, whether in any of these transport lines, it's not more than 30,000, or they are maximum 30,000 naira. But I'm afraid I cannot ply road. I have to go source for phone, perhaps go for loan before I can come to Abuja. About 100 or something. My family came, but three kids and a wife, almost 1 million naira to go back to Benin. In this day and time, do you know the economic impact? The damage to the pocket. So that's the problem. And they are not proactive. That's the point. What mechanism have they put in place to checkmate this insecurity? For me, I don't know of any. I don't know if you are aware. Since they came on board, knowing fully well that there's another surge of insecurity in the north and some parts of the south. So you must put in some mechanism to safeguard and protect your people. The primary aim of any government is to protect lives and property. That's the first primary aim. Every other thing is secondary. So you've abandoned the primary aim, and you're not pursuing those interests that will benefit your godfather to the detriment of the electorate, of the people. So there's a fundamental problem.
Juma asked you a very reversing question as to whether there is a political undertone to this. Can we speak to that theory?
And then to add to it, we should also give it to Governor Pueblo, because he has come out to say he has tried to maintain calm and says everything is under control to douse the situation. So if you come out and say that, I don't understand why the laughter is ongoing right now.
He said he has tried to maintain calm.
Yes, he has. At least he didn't sit back and watch the protesters fill the whole place up.
But this try is not try enough. You see, let us be sincere here. You see, it could be anybody. It could be any of us relatives. Let us be very sincere. And you saw the commando style that security agents stormed the place that the protesters they were carrying out their very legitimate human rights protest. And we discovered that even an army soldier, one of the soldiers, shot at a protester. Very armless, without arm, and then nothing. At this day and time, you see what prompted them to storm that place because of the billboards that were pulled down by the protester. There's nothing else. See, this whole thing is not about the people. It's about him and his godfather. To see how he can massage the godfather's ego and give him the needed 2.5 votes.
So you see no fault in the protesters bringing down the billboard?
No way. You see, no way for me.
You see no issues with that.
I'm a son of a
trying to destroy public property without being civil.
Protest is in my DNA.
So you see no problem.
For me, there's nothing wrong with the
No, I beg to differ.
Destroying
public property. You can have your protest. No,
excuse me.
When you were talking, I didn't interrupt. You can go out and protest in a civil manner to get your message passed across.
It's not a peaceful demonstration.
A peaceful demonstration. But when you start putting down billboards, that means you are a hazard to individuals around you. Maybe that was why they pulled the trigger at that point, which I am not in support. There are better ways, but you feel there is nothing wrong with what the protesters did?
The billboards. What is in the billboard?
It doesn't matter whatever is in the billboard. It was paid for.
So when the governor and the government is preoccupied with 2027 election,
you can
abandoning his constitutional duty.
Pass your message in a civil manner.
It was civil.
By pulling out.
It was civil.
No, it wasn't.
As a father, I'm coming as a father. You have a wife, and there's a misunderstanding between you and your wife. Your wife can decide not to go to kitchen. Because there's a misunderstanding between you and the husband. But this is a way of protesting.
But I'm just saying.
It has no
It does. No, that is even more sacrilegious compared in terms of our tradition. For a wife not to cook for the husband.
I'm talking about
no. You see, they're the same platform.
Just so we're clear.
Yes.
Just so we are clear. Are we saying if the governor's official vehicle had been on that sport, they also would have smashed it?
And you'd have supported that.
We must see. No, see. There is this saying that if you go around, go and do your own investigative journalism, that the governor and the government preoccupied with 2027, abandoning. You should know where the grievances is coming from. I don't know if you are getting me.
So what you are saying now is that the protesters are not protesting because of the insecurity.
They are. That is a way to drive home that demand. That look, you leave this 2027 and focus. That is the point. If, for instance, let me use this. As a husband, you start to have a side chick, and your husband get to know. I'm saying, is this a reality TV show that decide to know, and your wife get to know that the side chick. Your wife can decide to attack that side chick. We have seen cases like that.
And then the law also will be activated
against
its course. But again, just so we are clear, it's not a reality TV show. It's a breakfast. I want to say something. I'm not so sure now, as it stands at this point, whether you are still a member of the PDP, because it seems my hunch tells me there's now ADC flying inside of you.
I see it all around.
You are in the opposition. That's what
I'm not here for.
You are in the opposition. Right.
Probably in opposition.
How is the opposition how is the opposition having this conversation in those states? Beyond politics, beyond whether or not you believe Monday Okpebholo won the election, how is the opposition addressing the issue of insecurity in the states, especially without politics? I mean, as it is, life and death issue.
You see, I started by saying that if elders don't speak or talk, children will eat vulture.
And think it's chicken.
They are eating chicken. That is the role of the opposition. And they have been doing just that to call the government to order. With utmost humility, the PDP is a very liberal party. Unlike what we currently have now, a conglomeration, I don't want to use any derogatory language, a conglomeration of shades of persons in APC, which have been issued. They are coming to power they were being saddled with the responsibility to remove PDP, not knowing what to do afterwards. That's the gospel truth. So you can see, I told you just now, that they've started, accusing opposition. They are still behaving as if they are in opposition. Not necessarily when they are not a saddle of leadership. To be in opposition and be there and be a player, they are two different things. So they are not aware that they are the one now presiding over the affairs of the Edo people. They are still thinking that they are in opposition. But it will still be done on them that they are, look, my friend, you are now in the saddle of leadership, and you must drive home the needed, democratic dividends for the people. If, for instance, just go to our rural communities, they can no longer go to farm. You said that during when I left office, I had a farm. I went to farm. I had my farm. I went to farm. But today, I can't dare eat. I told you just now, I was afraid to even ply the road. So I was not lucky to, how do they put it, that you're trying to cut costs. At the end of the day, you are now at the mercy of cutting costs.
Penny wise, pound foolish.
Penny wise, pound foolish.
Exactly.
So that's a problem. And it's not friendly to our pockets. It's not friendly to our pockets. Let's call a spade a spade. Ordinarily, like I said to Soke, my wife and children get a Sienna 100,000 or 200,000 maximum. But close to 1 million naira. My brother, let's see. Why I'm saying this? Today, we don't know. Today is Mr. A. Tomorrow, it might be any of us relative. It can be any of us. You never can tell. A journalist in Abuja here, on one of the sister stations, she lost her life sometime last year.
Yeah.
Right.
As a result of insecurity. So we all must speak out. Because a closed mouth is a closed destiny. A station time says 9. Because if we fail to do the needful, that which we fail to do might be the sacrifice tomorrow. That's the point.
Is the opposition engaging the governor strategically on this issue in Edo State beyond just calling him out on Facebook?
No, they're having press conference. The only way that the opposition can call out any sitting government to have a press conference.
Has that been done over time?
Definitely. They have been doing it.
Any response from government?
For where? That's the point. That's the see, I see they are behaving as if they are, quote unquote, they are demigod. They say, don't mind them, let them talk. Let them. I listened to, is it not Oshomole said that the civil society and opposition, or rather the youth, they should stop agonizing. They should put themselves together. That's a word from a leader. It is disheartening to hear such a comment from quote unquote a supposed leader with utmost humility. Now, this someone that before now been issued was the side of the people, quote allegedly to be the side of the people, because of recent we've been seeing some very damaging revelations from the likes of So Warrior and the legends. He was never with the people. So that's why I'm here. That's a topic for another day. So for us as a people, I'm happy that the three of us here, we are from Edo State. Whether your mother or we are from Edo State. We must put our voice together to speak when the need arises. I'm not speaking as opposition. No, I just told you just now that there are blocks in APC, and about 2 of the blocks are trying to frustrate Okpebholo. I'm not speaking as opposition, because ordinarily opposition is their prayer is to make sure that the ruling party that they go to the grave. But for me, I'm not praying that.
Do you think? I mean, you are a politician on the ground. You've been in leadership as well, so you are not naive about these things. Do you see a correlation of any kind between these blocks and insecurity in the states? All of the things happening, the conflict within the APC and this insecurity that's escalating.
For me, as I said earlier, a house divided against itself cannot stand. There's nothing meaningful in an atmosphere of rancor. That's why my grandmother would always say, "Ewoma, ebona wire." It is when there are peace in the community that whether the imam or the pastor or you and I can go to a place of worship or a place of work. So for us, as we currently stand, the APC in Edo are in blocks. I don't want to say that they are divided. That's for their own to say whether they are divided or they are at each other's neck. But the point is this: A house divided against itself cannot stand. And the government, as we currently have it, the governor need to sit tight. He need to get his men, very trusted ally. I know that is difficult because of where he's, how he came about. It's going to be very difficult. I sympathize with him. And because I'm a Benin man, I sympathize with him because for me, I want this administration to succeed because it's our money, it's our collective patrimony.
Right.
Yes, we can't afford to use it for Father Christmas or use it for Jamboree. Begin to send some millions of lessons 2025 to somewhere Rivers, somewhere Akwa Ibom, somewhere. No, we cannot afford to do that. Let our money work for us. We want to see the dividends. We want to see where our money has taken us to. But as we currently stand in Edo, I don't think I can point to anything tangible in this present administration. As of today, I'm talking about today. My prayer for them, let them use our money judiciously for the betterment and benefit of the Edo people.
Let us talk about civil society groups and traditional rulers in Edo State. What have they proposed to actually curb this menace of insecurity in Edo State to Okpebholo's administration? What do you think they've done, in your own opinion? Have they tried to, or they're just sitting down and watching this whole charade?
The issue of the traditional rulers, I think the traditional rulers, they are in the same web with our religious leaders. There's no way you will talk about the development of the people without mentioning the religious bodies. We must be very frank. I think it was Karl Marx that once said that religions are no opium of the people. That is the way it is. Our people, they revere their pastor. Just put it side by side with their husband. You are a woman, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can go before your pastor and say, Daddy, Dombale, but to your husband, you can't really say, just wake up and say good morning, or just like you move on. I've seen a situation where a wife traveled out and got some pair of shoes for the pastor and abandoning the husband. I've seen. I was in France. I saw. Well, that's a topic for that. So why? But the point is this. The point is this. We will begin to get it right. The traditional rulers, they have missed it with utmost humility because majority of them
That's traditional rulers in Edo State now, or which one are you talking?
Across board.
Okay.
Across board, they have missed it because majority of them they are neck deep in politics. Thereby, they cannot speak truth to power. If you go back to history of, religious evolution, you will understand the point I'm driving at. Like, Karl Marx, the Martin Luther King of Germany, the senior Martin Luther King. You know what led that we currently enjoy as Pentecostal today and the likes. He discovered certain ills in the Catholic, so he decided to question the status. But today, our religious leaders and traditional rulers, they will tell you, judge not my anointed, so that you will not be judged. That is where they begin to, begin to cajole the people, begin to imprison the people, so the people can no longer confront their leaders. So for us, a criticism of any sort, it is to bring out the best from that system. A criticism of any sort. You listen to criticism. There are some good ones that will assist the process. There are some good ones. Not all criticisms are bad. Not all. I'm a person of criticism. I look at it and I tell you that look, this is not right. But I'm going to profess, okay, do it this way. So for us as a people, our traditional rulers, they have missed it. That is the gospel truth. Majority are not in tune with the reality in their locality. Some of them, they are traditional rulers in community A, they are residing in community C. Majority of the traditional rulers in this festive period, some of them, they were in United States of America, they were in UK, they were in Dubai, abandoning their people. How are you not going to, bond with your people?
Be in tune.
Exactly, the people will tell you this is what we are facing. That's why they can no longer tell their people what they ought to do or what they ought not to do. You saw what happened in Ekpoma. Even when the traditional leader was in their midst, they didn't listen. Because there's a lacuna between the people and the traditional stool. So for us, we must go back to the drawing board. the traditional rulers must divorce themselves from politics and face the stool and the people. Before now, when the traditional ruler is mentioned, you shiver. You are saying,
exactly. There's
but today, but today it's no longer like that. That's the gospel to, but they don't want to hear the truth. So for us as a people, in all sector of our existence as a people, I think there's a fundamental problem. From the religious to the traditional to even to governors, those that lead us, there's a fundamental problem. And again, you talked about the issue of civil society.
Yes.
You agree with me that since the inception of this present administration, the civil society are in comatose. That's the gospel truth. You know why? I will tell you for free. I came to the limelight in the very core of civil society. He is aware. I was the pioneer and director of publicity of the Conference of Non-Governmental Organizations, which happens to be the umbrella for NGO in Edo State, and later secretary and the president before my accidental, enroll into politics. And now I'm back. I'm here.
Was it accidental?
It was accidental because I was being, lured to go into politics for his own selfish interest. And once it was done, so there's a topic for another day anyway. Okay. So for us as a people, this present government, you agree with me, they are more of a civil society person. This present, ruiners, they are more of a civil society. They used us at the time to tell the people, we were at the front, while they were at the back, giving us the needed energy, to deceive the people that this what the government is doing is not good, it's not right. Is it really deceive? It is to deceive. I'll tell you. Let me use one as a case study.
Please tell me.
Like the issue of fuel subsidy. Yes. Some of us, we are at the forefront. That look, this one Jonathan is about to do is not right. Is you understand? You follow the narrative that time. Yes, but you coming aboard at the very second of your administration, fuel subsidy is gone, and you once told us that this thing is wrong. That's why I said deceived. Because I said I will only use one example. I won't go further. So that's a fundamental problem. So for us as a people, we must begin to speak. Because I said it, I don't know whether it's in this platform. I said as 2027 draws near, as we all go out to gym weekly, we must set aside at least 1 hour to begin to practice madness in preparation for 2027.
Really?
Yes. You know why?
No, please
I grew up in a village. Atigobazoa. Fantastic place. You see, there were some mad, persons. I think a male and a female. I can remember. I was coming from the tap one day, and I saw them moving at opposite, side. And the other ones, they discovered that the one that is coming is more, muscular and to perceive to have more strength. It moved to the left side. That should tell you that the man that is coming is better prepared. And let me put another scenario. I grew up in the midst of about 6, 8, girls, cousins. There was a day a guy, tried to woo one of my cousins, and she refused. And the guy tried to, harass, molest, and all of that. And I called some of my friends and other, make cousin to go, you understand, to go to the house. And when I saw the guy, well built, and the guy is a guy that gym. Then we have to go to our, mental faculty to say, okay, what we are doing is suicidal. We retrace our steps. So the point is this: when I said they should go, so that those that will be having the mind to ring or do whatever, they know that the people are well prepared, and it will be difficult.
But really, are the people well prepared?
That's another thing.
Are we really?
And that is where the media, you guys, come on board to begin to conscientize, to talk to the people with the right information.
To understand where our power lies, right?
Exactly. But I don't know whether the NBC will allow people to begin to do all of that. So that's another thing.
As long as the conversations are centered on facts, verifiable evidence, why not by all means?
So, let me say this. God, the problem of the people are the people themselves. Why do I say so? Majority of us don't really know what we want from the government. That is the gospel. Majority of us don't really know what we want from the government. And at times we allow some very cosmetic projects that in the political parlor, they are what we call political project, the Hallelujah projects, where what do they want to see? not what they really want. There was a situation when I was in civil society. I went to a certain community, and the community said, okay, what they want is morgue, as in mortuary, because there's none in the community and the neighboring communities. But the government went and had, provided with borehole water. And the women, gang up and they abandoned the pipe of water and begin to go to stream to fetch water.
So that was their own protests.
Yes. When we confronted them, they said no, that they did not consult them. That what they want is mortuary, not pipe of water or borehole water. Because the only time they have to gossip their various husbands or their community is when they are going for stream to get water, or to river to get water. So you can see that what we call the Hallelujah Project and the political projects.
But let me ask you questions, really. I think individuals who are listening to you right now will beg to differ and tell you that Nigerians are becoming more aware. If they're not aware, this protest will not be ongoing in Edo State. Don't you think so? And individuals are now coming out. They now know their rights. That if you do not do the needful, we will act, we will verify, because we are now aware of the circumstances in you being in office at that point. Don't you think so?
You see, let me try to answer your question. I will try to answer your question. I will not answer your question. You see, there is a problem. There are times you think that the people really know what they want. That's a big fallacy. I will tell you for free. If, for instance, I'm a legislator, I have no business with projects to begin to execute projects as a legislator. But over time, it has been corrupted and abused. The primary aim of a legislator is to enact, to sponsor bill oversight functions and to be the checks and balance to the executive. But as we speak very just now, are they doing all of that? But rather, they are in bed with projects. They begin to sing hallelujah with the executive. And they are in dining table eating jollof rice with the governor. So that's where we find ourselves. That's why I said the people don't really know what they want from government. You see, there is this syndrome in Nigeria, the strongman syndrome, where we don't have a viable institution. Or, let me put it, a viable institution we don't have. That is why a president can sit down and remove a governor and say he declares state of emergency. That is why the governor can dissolve the tortier, the council, and the chairman and their councillors. Because we don't know what they want. If truly we know what we want, a governor has no right to dissolve the council, elected council chairman and councillors. That's an impeachable offense. So for us as a people, we must begin to do what is. That is why this platform must begin to educate people, must begin to tell the people, as a matter of urgency, as 2027, beyond 2027, I believe that is too short. We must begin to do, whether you like it or not, the opposition must form a formidable force, a very viable vehicle that can checkmate this present, as it currently stands in the national.
We have to talk about the opposition, a bit in detail, but we need to take a quick break. When we return, we'll look at the claims that opposition in Edo State in particular is in disarray, because they say there's been this exodus of people from the PDP to the ADC. They say we can blame it on the Atiku factor. How true or otherwise that is, we'll find out after this break. Please do stay with us. right, let's push it a bit further with this conversation. They say a viable opposition is nothing but vital if you want to have a forward-looking, result-oriented sort of government, top to bottom. In the case of Edo, they say that's not what the situation is right now. Of course, the PDP, where I want to believe you still belong, all right, had a change of leadership a while ago. They say with people like Chief Danosi Obi out of the party in the States and a few other big wigs as we know them, the PDP is nothing but a paper tiger.
You see, let me quickly say this, because you've mentioned the likes of Danobi. With utmost humility, I respect him a lot because I'm one person that respects age. So I respect him. Without them, we won the 2024 election, the governorship as well. We won the 20. I can stand before our Lord Jesus Christ and say it.
But that looks like a symposium discussion now.
No, it's not. See, I can stand before our Lord. When I say I can stand before our Lord Jesus, because that's the only faith I believe in. That to tell you how convinced. Majority of Edo people, they are aware that Asolime won that election. We all know what happened. I wouldn't want to say that is why we are now, we are now at this crossroad in Edo. I exonerate the average Edo person. They are not part of the concussion. You know what concussion in the village? I grew up in the village. I love it very well. You see, they were not part of the concussion. I must give it to them. At any rate, the issue of insecurity, to me, is beyond what we are saying. Our governor, in the course of an electionary campaign, he promised us that he will give us insecurity. It's there in the video, one of his campaign. Or you've not seen it?
That was a momentary error.
The way you are looking at me.
That was a momentary error. He corrected himself almost immediately. That could have happened to the best of us.
From the abundance of a man, the man speaketh. So see the Bible. I'm not a Bible student, no. But I know that. That's what the Bible. See, there's a saying in the local palace, say like play. If you talk, I go pass. He said it. What we need to do now, if all our hands will be on deck, I put a hand on the plow to make sure that Edo works for us. The issue of opposition, I said it earlier. You see, just flash your mind back in all the elections. No party has ever defeated PDP in Edo elections, apart from the last movement, the Obi movement. Do your own findings. Do your own findings.
We're talking about
Edo is a PDP state.
Even now?
We are waiting. We've not had any.
You're waiting to become a PDP state once again? Is that the point?
No, Edo is ordinarily, it's a PDP state. I said, cast your mind back.
But it's a de facto APC state now.
Exactly.
Till the next election.
But some APC leaders are saying that there's a particular spirit in the PDP. There's one spirit, the spirit that is hovering around the PDP. What can you say about that spirit?
Tell me the spirit.
That spirit of disunity, that spirit of discord, that spirit that some individuals who have defected to the ADC, or will I say the APC, they want to bring that same spirit into the APC. So that's what spirit, is it that would you say that the PDP is becoming a shadow of itself, or there's nothing like the PDP with what we're seeing now with that party?
They said PDP, there's a
particular spirit. Yes, there's a spirit.
And we all know the actor. Your brother, our brother, the Yendeba. Today, he's in the APC. Same thing is happening in APC. Or you've not heard what is happening in Rivers.
But he says he's a card-carrying member of the PDP, and you are aware he said that. Our brother that you're talking about.
Yeah, but he has been expelled from the party. Whether you like it or not. You see, I'm not talking as a party person. I try to look at it without allowing my party association to becloud my sense of reasoning. That's what I try to do. If you look at it dispassionately, the Supreme Court, when we contested for House of Assembly, we went from the lower court to Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said that whatever happened is an internal party thing that bringing it to court is for academic exercise. So for the INEC to begin to host with that the court, for me, is laughable. It's laughable. Whatever happened, if something's happened in my house, for instance, I'm the man of the house. I'm the man of the house. So it is my duty to look at the internal mechanism to settle whatever squabble between me, my wife, and the kids. So for us, that's why I'm not very comfortable with this President. What do you call him? The INEC chairman, with utmost humility. For me, I don't see anything meaningful coming out from this President INEC chairman. With utmost humility.
Why is that?
With utmost humility.
Why is that so, please? Do you have?
I think I've said this in this platform.
No, you haven't. Remind us again why.
You see, if you look at where he's coming from, you and I know that he who pays the piper dictates the tune. It's more, with utmost humility, treated to APC.
Is that where it's coming from?
That is where it's coming from.
Even as an academic?
At the time, it was at the legal team of this present dispensation. At the time, it was at the legal team. There's no way you can. There's no way. See, well, for me, I love confronting issues.
But how does legal representation pose an equivalence, as they say in law, in terms of his mandates as the chairman of INEC?
Well, you are a journalist. I expect you to, you see.
Our viewers need to benefit from that, at least.
I would have used one word because it's more, but I will just leave it. You see, when you are married and you want your ex somewhere, you must be very careful not to see anything that will tie you and the ex in a confined place. Then the situation will be very compromised. I don't know if you are getting me.
No, I'm not.
So even
I refuse to use certain words just now.
Even with all the promises that the chairman of INEC has made, he has raised the bar in terms of commitment.
And loyalty.
Commitment. Even the last man, what's his name? Yakubu, if I'm not mistaken, Professor. Right. It means more commitment, more institutional development than this present one.
Yeah, he has barely gotten his foot in the door. He just got in there a few months ago.
But today, and for what happened in the last election, because of what he has done for this present dispensation, they have rewarded him with an ambassadorial post. Let's call it spade a spade. Professor Ahmed Bola is a rewarder of loyalty that you can't take away from him. That's why I liked him, not love him. That's why I liked him. You can't take away. So he rewarded Yakubu for his loyalty. Nobody. So there's no guessing. If, for instance, an umpire, a judge that have presided between, let's assume I'm the judge between you and madam, for instance, and there's a certain issue, and I have taken decision, and tomorrow she's coming to your house, not seeing you and I in a dining, eating jollof. There's a problem. Am I right? Thank you. Okay, for the very first time, you agree with me.
I know Juma has questions to ask, but I was just curious. Is there ever a time the president appoints a chairman for INEC and opposition will find it satisfactory? Is there ever a time in this country?
Akpata, for instance, there was satisfactory.
Justice Ibrahim Akpata?
Yes. I can tell you, I can want to mention that.
But the NPP raised their eyebrows there.
Exactly. That was just you see. Let us. When we get certain criticism, as I said it earlier, not all criticism are for the negative. Some is just to bring out the best in you. Even as a father, there are times your kids will think the result or perhaps his or her performance in the school is not that. You try to just ginger him to step up the game. So for some of us, I'm from the civil society. It's also in my vein. I'm more of a civil society than a political animal. I'm more of a civil society. That's one of the problem I have. or had at the time, because I tried to speak truth to power. When the issue between my SY, my boss, and still my boss, Obaseki, and the deputy, who happens to be my elder brother, my confidant, you can't take that away. These are two fantastic fellows. When it happened, I was in a meeting, I told them, I said, there's a saying, my grandmother of blessed memory, you know, when I lost my father, who happens to be the only male of my grandmother, and I lived with my grandmother for about 9 years. From there, I went to the university. She said something that when two brothers of same parentage fight to death because of what their father left behind, to death, strangers will inherit those inheritance. And I said it in the meeting. And I was told to shut up. But today, where are we? Strangers have inherited what? You understand my point? So I'm more of a civil society than a political animal. So I will tell you the way it is. No matter who wants is God. So for us as a people, as I have said earlier, we must look at issues dispassionately and see how we can find a way around it for the betterment of the people. Why do we go into politics? To better the lot of the people. Quote, just underline the lot of the people. Yes, interest is there, but you shouldn't allow your interest becloud your sense of, performance.
Or judgment.
Because the people comes first. Because it is a collective patrimony. It's not a Nabulele fund. It's not money or parent. No, it's a collective patrimony. Just that at this point in time, you are then managing it on our behalf. So it must speak for us, and it must answer some questions that we are asking. A situation where the money fund or the patrimony is not answering the question, that's what leads to protest. That's what leads to protest. When we look at this is coming, and we are not getting the desired result, then I will be forced to ask questions. In any means possible. Because desperate time requires desperate measure.
I want us to talk about, okay, Jimmy has a question.
I want to ask a question. 2027 is just around the corner.
It's around the corner.
And then now with this new, what you've said about the INEC chairman now, do you...
I don't have confidence in him.
Wait a minute. I'm
talking about myself.
Yes. Do you foresee the election not being free and fair?
For me, yes. I foresee not being free and fair. The only way, I've said it before, let me re-echo it, is this: that as the people go out to gym weekly, they must set aside 1 hour to practice madness, get towards 2027. The people must be prepared. You know why?
Why?
You can see all these governors, PDP by 11 a.m. and APC by 12 noon. It's nothing else.
You mean the ones that moved into
the one that are moving to APC now? It's nothing else. They will tell you, yes, we have the numbers of governors. Yes, look at, we have about 28 governors, or so to speak. You see, the boju they carry out in Edo, that's what they're going to carry out in the majority of the states. They are going to concoct figure. I'm going to use the word repeatedly here. They are going to concoct figure. No concussion. And I don't know whether you grew up in the village. I grew up in the village with my grandmother. My grandmother would put some leaves, put some concussion. You have malaria, you have to drink. There's concussion without knowing the dose.
But you know,
the point is this.
Okay.
They say, yes, we have the numbers. They will direct governors on what to do. You've heard not too long ago some, with utmost humility, they are my brothers. I wouldn't want to call them some boys that are under this present administration, that if they see any opposition, what's it called? Poster anywhere, any opposition post anywhere, that they will attack. So what you and I are saying, they are preparing. So they will tell you, yes, Edo State belongs to APC. Yeah, what do you expect? You say we are not going to win. River State is in there. Well, we are not going to win. I wanted to use the voice of my Yede Babet. I can't fake it. So that is the problem. So we must, Nigerians, this election is Nigerians, and just like what they did in the last presidential election, the movement. We must reinvent the movement.
But the voice of whoever you said you wanted to make now said
something.
Yes, you wanted to fake it, but you could not. But he said something. He said, whether you defect to the other party, it doesn't guarantee a re-election. So what can you say that in that light? It doesn't guarantee you being re-elected.
My sister, I sympathize with my other brother, Wiki. It's very unfortunate. It's beginning to sound like a broken record. You see, if it to be Wiki, you see, in my life, I try to put myself, whenever I find myself at any argument or conversation, I try to put myself in the opposite person. Say, okay, what will I? That's the only way I'll be able to get out of it. It to be Wiki. Can anybody dare Wiki? You see, what do you expect as you speak is the control of the grassroots politics in terms of local. So you should expect, as is the control of the House of Assembly. I said, at the intro, I told you that I sympathize with two governors, my brother Fubara and Modokbewolo. I sympathize, though Modokbewolo is not my person, but I sympathize with him because he's managing my money. My money is there. Our money is there. It's our collective patrimony. So I sympathize with him. My prayer is for him to be able to bring out, use the money judiciously to bring out, answer some of our questions. So provide answer by way of the collective patrimony. You see, if it were to be wicked, will anybody try that to wicked? No. We all had what he did to his SY boss, Amechi, and the likes. Even his very revered orderly. These are persons that ordinarily, let us be sincere. For me, as I said earlier, I respect age a lot, so I hardly, you don't see me, castigating or insulting my senior. It's not of me. It's not in my DNA. But a situation where you find yourself, allow the man to preside over the state favorably. Allow him, let him. So what he's doing now is to cause commotion, to cause crisis, so that at the end of the 4 years or 8 years, they will say, okay, let's look at it. But yes, Wike is still up there. With all this crisis, you think the man can be able to get the best out of the administration? For me, I doubt. A man that was a governor, whether you like it or not, he was former governor and now he's not governor. At the time, he was removed. So it will affect little. It will affect the psyche. It will affect it. We are all human beings. For me, I don't. No, my wife will say, baby, it's like you are not fit for this politics. It's not really your thing. You say, in politics, there are no morality. There are no fairness.
They say it's a dirty game.
Indeed, it is.
So what are you doing in it?
You see, I said it earlier. I said, we all enter politics to better the lot of our people. As I said, I used the word earlier that accidental inroad into politics. I pick it deliberately. Not as if it was really what I want, because someone wanted to use me to achieve certain things of which he achieved. And at the end of the day, wanting to use the councillors to remove me, and as God will have it, I got the wind of it, and I will be able to secure myself to the end
of your tenure.
Of my tenure. And God will have it. The then Obaseki said, okay, you go for House of Assembly. And I did. And the said person, which is Dennis, fought against me, even when our community, we all from the same community, said, look, you should not campaign, blah, blah, blah. And I adhered to it. But immediately after his own election, he went all out to campaign against me. As God will have it. And I defeated him and their candidates. And he went to court. His sponsor. And as we speak, I will learn that there's even a face-off between he said person and he said, because he's telling the guy to come and give him the 100 million that he spent in the court case. And the man said, all my entitlement in the house, it's not up to 100 million. And he used the Bajabila to remove my person from the House of Assembly. I don't have, for me, I'm home and dry. At least I spent 6 months. Today is in my CV, whether they like it or not. That's what I want to achieve, and I've achieved it.
All right.
I try to be very careful.
Let's go back to where we started from, the issue of insecurity in Edo State. We understand the House of Assembly, where you also had a stint, 6 months. 6
months, it's not enough.
Yes, that's why I said you had a stint, right? We hear they are working on some bills. Some people say, well, they've passed some laws to squarely deal with this emerging challenge that has to do with the security of the state and things like that. Is this House of Assembly proactive enough? Are they in tandem with the realities that we're dealing with in that state?
My brother, yeah, from the speaker to all of them, they are my friends. That I cannot, but that's not to say that it's just like I said earlier, and I have told whoever cared to listen. Ordinarily, the primary aim of a legislator across board in the developed country or developing country, the way it ought to be is lawmaking. But as we speak very just now, that has been put aside. They are now going to sink borehole, build school. That is not the primary aim of a legislator. For us to have effective legislation, they must face it squarely, the primary aim. They must remove that project executing arm, permit me, from the legislator. They have no business in executing projects. Because one, to act as checks and balance. The only difference between the Kaki administration and the civilian rule of democracy is the legislative arm. The Kaki administration, they have ministers, they have governors, but they don't have legislators. That's the only difference. That's what distinguishes them from every other, whether Kaki or whatever, or monarchy. So for us as a people, Nigerians must be very careful on who they send to be the legislator, whether in the House of Assembly, whether in the House of Rep, whether in the Senate. A situation where you don't make Senate to become a retirement home for former governors is an aberration. It is an error. I've seen some clip where a rep member cannot even read a bill, cannot even read a motion. It's an aberration. That place is not meant for charlatans. With utmost humility, permit me. You can send it to be chairman. You can send it to be governor, but not a legislator. No, I beg to differ. We have seen some cases in some state houses of assembly where a house member in the whole tenure cannot even move one motion or sponsor a bill. We have seen. I spent 6 months. At least they still have some evidence there. 6 months. Then we're just trying to settle down all of that. I did a town hall meeting, which it was all over within 6 months. To tell my people this is what I want to do. This is my blueprint, and ask for their input. The first, and my constituent said this is the first in the history since 1999. Universal choice, you can go there and verify. So the point I'm making, legislation is a very serious business. But in this part of this country, a situation where we begin to send our glorified houseboys and house ladies to House of Assembly, that's where we have the problem. With utmost humility.
So are we saying all of these members who are clustered on the floor of that house at the Nauru complex are not able to...
I haven't said so.
No, I'm saying... I haven't said so. I mean, they were elected by the people of Edo State across all the 18 local government areas, obviously. I'm asking, I mean, there must be somebody, for example, who represents East and West, which is where I mean, that's where you have Ekpoma.
Yes, my friend, the former, my friend.
So are we saying we cannot put these individuals together and come up with...
And he happens to be the majority leader.
Incidentally, yes, a framework that will help tackle this to at least an appreciable extent.
You see, that the issue that happened in Ekpoma, it has been boiling over time.
Right.
And I believe that the actors, the political actors, failed to nip it on the bud. I must be very frank. I fought all of them, from the House of Rep, even the senator representing them, and at any rate, the governor is from that axis. They saw it coming. For me, I saw it coming. We have had a series of kidnapping. Not just kidnapping. I said that casualties. Without you doing anything. Not too long ago, it happens in Uromi. And it was knocking at the next door. That's why I said they are not proactive. They are reactionary. And Collins is a formidable force in Ekpoma. That you can't take away. Even my friend Marcos, the former speaker and now the House of Rep member, right. They would have been able, even the majority leader of the State House of Assembly, they would have been able to put their eyes together. No, that's why I said just now that there are different blocks. There are different blocks. And what is happening now is who will get a ticket. We learned that some persons
in 2028.
Yes,
for the state's governorship,
both the state and the House of Rep, both 2028 and 2027 and 2028. So some of them they are a little bit, lackadaisical. So I'm not very sure of my ticket. Why would I want to stick my neck?
Assuming the governor has a block, who else has a block within the APC in Edo State?
I said it just now. I said his number 2 man is his worst nightmare.
So that's
without any apology.
That's another block.
The Oshomole block is there. That you can't. That is just standing at the neck of the governor. I sympathize. I don't envy him. I sympathize with him.
So you saying the governor is under pressure?
He's under pressure. I can say that for free.
I want to quickly interject now, still going back to insecurity. Now, what could be the long-term consequences if this security issues is not nipped in the bud in Edo State?
My dear sister, what we have seen, or perhaps what we have been experiencing, there have been, economic decline, seriously, in Edo State. And the people, there have been exodus of the people from the state, despite there's an angle from the governor and government angle that is necessitating the exodus of the people from the state. This insecurity is another angle of it. So for us, if not checked very quickly, I see us going into economic recession in Edo. Not only in Edo, across the country. Because our people in the rural communities, they are no longer, even in Edo North, they are no longer going to farm. That's a no fact. Our occupation in there is farming, trading. At the time, we had that some traders were kidnapped, coming from market, and they have their proceeds. They were taken from them. Some of them were being molested and all of that. So for us, that's why we are a little bit, not a little bit, concerned that the government should have looked at the command center. You see, you can't say that all about madam is wrong. There are good side of you. Though I don't know you, but every person has his own good side. So likewise, every administration. You can't say everything about, for instance, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is wrong. I'm not saying all is wrong. Like the forest, for instance. At least it's stabilized. But I'm not saying it's good. But I'm not saying it's bad. So the point is this. The government should look at the good side of the last administration, let it harness it, and run with it. Rather than going into media, castigating, saying Edo State is not a 419 state. You use such a comment from a governor. And I told him, I think I replied, I said, look in your cabinet. Maybe you are the only one that is not a 419 there.
That's interesting, but we'll keep an eye out to continue to track these developments in Edo State. But one thing is clear, the governor has a lot of work to do. There's a reason the governor is called the Chief Security Officer of the state, and those who work with him must also not be seen to be fifth columnists of any kind. But overall, the buck stops right in front of the governor. Destiny Enabulele.
If my name has not changed.
Yes, who is a member of civil society as well as a politician in Edo State. Would like to say a big thank you to you.
My pleasure.
Thank you for being a part of the program.
I appreciate it. Thank you for this honor.
Thank you.
All right, just to again establish that the views of our guests across all of our programs are their opinions. I'm Muya Mofwegwe, as always. We are grateful for your time with us here on Global Morning.
And I am Jumaid Manson. Thank you all so much for being a part of our program. Thank you so much to an amazing guest. Thank you for being a part of the program. Have an amazing day ahead. From we and I will say bye-bye.